What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. So we are finally doing our long-awaited
couples
relationship Q&A.
Couples Q&A.
Couples relationship Q&A. We have like a lot of things.
Julia posted on her story not too long ago, earlier this week, questions that you want us to answer. There was a lot of them, so we went through and highlighted the most
Frequently asked,
like the most common ones. Some are about our relationship just in general, some are about just advice, things that you might be going through that you have questions on.
Yeah.
And just like, I don't know.
Maybe a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're just gonna jump in and get started and answer your questions. Also, if you're not following over on Instagram, that's where we ask all of these questions, so
yeah,
head over there. Okay, so everyone wants to know if we're having kids, when, and how many, and all that stuff.
So first questions, babies.
Absolutely, having babies.
Yes. We do want babies.
Yes.
We love babies. We love kids.
Yes. We're just very busy right now with both of our careers and our jobs, and don't feel like we're quite in the spot that we want to be before we bring a child into the world. Yeah. And we just want to have more time to dedicate to them, but we know we're going to be like super into our family whenever we do have kids, so we're just waiting till that moment. We're really ready for that.
There's like the saying that's like, you'll never be ready for kids, and I agree with that in some ways, but I disagree in the sense that like you can be more ready for kids. Like you can be more prepped than you were. Emotionally, even financially and mentally and all that kind of stuff. Like you can be more prepped and more ready for kids than you are like 2 years ago. And so don't just rush into it because someone's pressuring you. Like don't worry about the pressure. Like make a decision to have kids and when you want kids based on like your lifestyle and when you truly desire it.
Yeah.
Like what
you don't want it to like overwhelm you or end up being like too much of a struggle. I feel like it'd be hard no matter what. So just growing up in the South, you're expected to have kids when you're like 21 years old. Growing up in San Francisco or like the Bay Area or like more like bigger cities, I think it's the expectations that you have kids when you're like 32 to 35, like that time range. And like I don't think we're on either of those time frames. We're kind of on our own schedule. And we both kind of want kids probably by the time we're like 29-ish. So like in the next 2 years or so. Yeah.
But yeah, and also number of kids, that was also asked. I'm one of 3, she's one of 4, so we kind of like that. We like bigger families. So.
Yeah. Okay, so next, a lot of questions about how we met, how long we've been together, when did we get married, all that stuff. We met in college at a bar. Not very romantic or anything, but I think it was very romantic. I thought it was love at first sight. Hunter, not so much, but we tell that story in another video because it'd be too long. But yeah, we met just at a party, and then it was just an instant connection. Like we were instantly.
Yeah, after the party, we hung out that night.
Yeah.
Just like literally just sat in my truck and talked for like quite a long time.
Yeah.
We went out we hung out actually every day after that for like a good 3 weeks. But we went on our true like first date. Couple days later, we went to the concert.
Was that our first date?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean...
That wasn't really like... There were people there. What was like our first one-on-one date?
That I don't know. I mean, you can consider our first like one-on-one like encounter and chatting like the first night we met. But like I came over to your place the next day and we watched a movie with your roommates, then vice versa.
Yes. Oh, that was our first. Like, yeah, I feel like we had friends around a lot for our first few dates because we were like kind of nervous.
But our first date we were like, let's make this happen. Let's go here. We went to a Blake Shelton concert, which was on campus at TCU, and yeah, it was fun.
We got in a fight our first date, so we knew we were in love when we were already fighting on the first date. Yeah,
but
it was funny.
How long did it, like, one other question was, how long did it take before you knew, like, we were the one, or all that kind of stuff? Someone paired that question with, like, how long did you date before you knew you were the one, and how long did you date before you got engaged?
Right.
Those are, like, obviously two different questions in themselves. Like,
I think we instantly knew we were the one, like, right away. It was
which is somewhat scary.
Very scary.
It wasn't like we had hesitations. It was more like scary that, well, like, did I really just find the person that I'm going to be with the rest of my life?
Yeah. And I think that a lot of people ask, like, how do you know that? And I know a lot of people always say you just know. Definitely true. Like, it's just a feeling. But I think the way that I would describe it is that you actually can't imagine your life without them, and that's how you know that they're the one, because you, like, it would hurt your heart way too much to know if you had to, like, live your life away from them or without them. Like, you couldn't even imagine that. So
and a tip is, like, separate that feeling, or, like, the feeling or thought of, like, how will my life be away from this person? Separate that away from, like, you feeling like you rely on them. Like, don't, like, maybe you've been with someone for a long time and the comfortability factor sets in. Like, don't let the comfortability piece get in the way of you thinking, like, okay, do I really want to be with this person forever? Or is this like an easy relationship? Like, the relationship should be easy. Like, not every relationship is difficult, but your relationship should be easy. Like, it should be easier to make work than not make work.
Correct, yeah. And I think, to, like, imagine, like, being under the worst circumstances with that person, and if that makes you nervous, then that might be like a red flag that, like, maybe that deep connection isn't there, or that, not to say that you couldn't marry them, like, you're in the relationships, you're the only one that knows, but I think, like, if you're kind of like, oh god, that would suck to go through that with that person, like, I wouldn't want to, like, stick around for that, then that's not a good sign.
Yeah. A lot of people also asked about, like, hesitations, like, okay, if I have these questions or hesitations, like, what should I do? Should I stay or go, or all that kind of stuff? And I don't know. Personally, I think that if you have hesitations, then, like, maybe it's not right.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. I don't feel like hesitations are there. I feel like it's like, you wouldn't be calling it a hesitation. You'd be calling it, like, a problem in your relationship, because it's something that you can then work through. I think a hesitation is like, hey, I don't know if I can see myself with them, or, like, we're not on the same page about, like, marriage and kids. Like, I know one person asked, like, what do I do? Like, my partner isn't ready to settle down and I am. Like, what do I do? And it's like, I don't know. It's tough to answer that because I don't know your relationship truly, but at the same time, it's like, if they're not on the same page as you and they're not ready to settle down, maybe that means that they're unsure if you're the one, which would which would mean that y'all aren't right for each other.
Right.
And as much as that hurts, it's like, maybe it is time for you to move on and, like, explore other options.
Yeah, because you shouldn't have to be forcing it. Like, that's for sure. Unless, like, unless they went through something traumatic, like, in their childhood, and they aren't ready because of those reasons or something like that.
If they're just a dude that's like, hey, I'm not ready, like, I want to, like, have some guy time still, it's like, come on, it's time to grow up. Like, how long have you been together? Like, ask a lot of questions yourself. How long have you been together? How serious are you? And it's like, are you truly, like, at a mature age where you can get married? And if so, that's like, maybe find the next person. I don't know. Go see what else is out there.
And I also think that you need to talk to them about it. So in a gentle way, if that's a concern, like, if you're a girl and the guy's not ready to get married, there should be,
or vice versa,
it should be, like, a conversation just about, like, hey, why are you so nervous about this, and really, like, let them explain where they're coming from, because that might help you. Like, you should be able to get on the same page together. Like, we've been on different pages at moments about certain, like, big things in our life, like, you know, living in different places, or at times we've talked about kids and stuff, and we've been in different, like, spots
levels
with that
and stuff like that.
Yeah, like, different levels of readiness or different opinions, and we just, like, it's not like, oh, it's a deal breaker, but we had to talk through it, like, okay, well, why are you nervous about that? Let's get to a place together where we both feel ready for that.
You create the same page.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of, like, places we could go with that. Maybe that's, like, a different conversation.
Yeah. But communicate, obviously, is number one thing.
How did you meet? We said we met at a bar.
Yeah,
we can go into that story later. What age did you get married? And did you live together before getting married? So, we got married. I was 24.
3. No, it was 1 year after college. So, yeah, 24, 23.
Yeah.
You had just turned 24 because it was August.
Yeah, so I just turned 24. She was 23 still, about to turn 24.
Yeah.
And
got engaged at 2.5 years and got married after being together 3.5 years, and we've now been together
for almost like 7 or 8. That's crazy.
7 or 8 seems so long. Like, I feel like I just met you.
It is kind of weird how fast that time's gone by.
It's a long time.
I know. We're still in love. The fire's still flaming. Okay, so how long did you live together?
Oh, yes.
Before you got married, or did you live together before you get married? If so, how long? We lived together sort of like the casual, like, college experience where, like, I had my place and she had her place, but, like, we would stay the night back and forth, just, like, crash each other's places. But when we graduated college, we moved in with my parents, where we had different rooms at my parents' house. And we got her own apartment.
Yes.
Before we got married. You had your own apartment for like at least like 8 months or so.
Yeah, and I lived in an apartment, and he lived with his parents, and yeah, we would like kind of go back and forth. But I think that's a good time to answer the question of, are we religious and or do we go to church?
Yeah.
I feel like it kind of plays into that.
So around that time, after we like started dating, probably like a good 5 months into our relationship was when we kind of started going to church together.
I would say sooner than that, like a month.
Yep.
I feel like for Hunter, like he grew up going to church and comes from a Christian background, and I think the whole like community where you grew up is pretty like church centered,
totally for
Christian based. And I didn't grow up with that, so I was raised Catholic-ish, but my family was like really laid back about it, and it wasn't like a huge part of our life. Yeah. So when Hunter and I met, that was obviously like a huge thing for him because that was like, you know, a big part of his life.
Yeah. And we had that conversation like early.
Yeah.
First like week, first couple days probably.
And he kind of asked me like where I was spiritually, how I felt like about God and stuff like that. So that's when I was kind of like, I don't really know. I'm pretty open-minded, but I don't really feel like I know much about that. So we started going to church together, and that kind of like started developing for me, at least. Like I think you grew up that way, so you already had that kind of faith. Essentially, that played a certain factor into like why we wanted to not fully live together before we got married. And we honestly just like, I'm sure if you are a Christian watching this, then you understand like the ebbs and flows of like faith and your beliefs, and it goes in seasons and through ups and downs. And I think like we're just like that as the same as anybody else, and you know, it's had its ups and downs and stuff, but I wouldn't say that we're pretty like laid back. Like we are spiritual, but we're not like strict.
Be you and have your own relationship with like whatever spiritual beliefs you have. Like don't make decisions based on like whatever other people expect you to make.
Yeah, I agree with that too. And I think if you are a Christian, you should be open-minded and like love everybody no matter what they believe. So if that's not the space that you're in, I don't think it's a good sign.
No. Yeah.
You're missing the point.
Missing the point. Love everyone, and like that is the best example you can set.
Totally. It's a great thing that has like gotten, I think, people twist. So it's kind of sad, but.
And we don't want to go down the religious rabbit hole, but we just wanted to bring that up because we decided that we weren't going to move in together until we got married. So like we said, we did kind of like live together off and on in college. But once we got more involved in our church and more in our community, we decided, hey, let's not live together. Let's have separate places until we get married. And with that decision, we also decided not to, like, to no longer be sexually active as well.
Yeah.
So we were definitely sexually active before.
Yes, and I think that's, like, good for people to hear, too, because we definitely, like, had sex when we got together, and we were for a long time, and then once we were in like a different spiritual state of mind, we stopped, and we were like, we should wait till we're married. So we still had like about almost a year of being like...
We basically made that decision like 9 or 10 months before we got married, to put our sexual relationship on pause entirely and wait until we were married. Even if you aren't spiritual, it'll mean so much for your relationship.
I agree. And I feel like that was like, I think that I see why there are a lot of different reasons why people like don't have sex before they get married, but I think especially in our case, like I had sex a little bit younger, and I think it like kind of did some things to me like emotionally where it was pulling into our relationship and causing problems between us with like our physical life, and that was just like not okay, and we didn't want that to be like
and in general it's like if you haven't had sex yet, like there's no pressure to like save yourself for marriage. And it's also like if you are in a sexually active relationship, doesn't mean like you can't like put that on pause for a little bit. Like it's never a bad time to say like let's hold off and like just wait for a little bit, or like let's figure things out. I mean, this is just our advice and things that we did and the decisions we made.
Everyone has their own. It's your own journey. We also got on the topic of sex. We had another question about how to keep your sex life interesting. Honestly, I think we have like a really like realistic approach to sex, and I think that a lot of people, there's like a lot of ways that sex can be like skewed or misled. Like we were talking about like pornography or just crazy things, and like that to us, like sex is just, it's a way to like connect, it's a way to like spend time together and enjoy each other, and it shouldn't be anything like skewed outside of that.
And know each other's expectations with it. Like establish that and know it. It's like, I know it sounds lame, but like kind of have an understanding of like what you expect from like how frequent. If you're married and you're like, hey, I want to like, maybe the dude's like, I want sex 4 times a week, and the woman's like, I want it once a week. It's like, I don't know, come to a happy like medium and figure it out and chat about it. Don't just like, as a dude, don't be like down when your woman doesn't want to like get together, and like as a woman, don't be frustrated when your man's coming at you and ready for it or something. I don't know, just like be on the same page with it. Like set the expectations and figure it out. Everyone's gonna be different, but at the same time, it's just like be realistic with it.
Yeah, and I think like we go through like, I mean, just to make people feel comfortable, like ebbs and flows, like where we won't have sex as much, and then we will more sometimes. So it just like goes like in a roller coaster, just like relationships and stuff.
It's sad to say too. It's like it depends on like work schedules, like and like things that's like taking place in our life, like how busy we are, stress levels, like all that kind of stuff. And so keep that in mind when you're talking about it, but also just like be aware that that does happen. So.
But try and make time for it because it
is important.
It's very important. Somebody asked, what is our favorite thing about each other? I feel like there's so many. I don't think I can like narrow it down.
Yeah, it's like how do you make a decision on like, hey, this is the thing that's my favorite. Okay, number 1 characteristic about Julia that it's like so attractive, charming, and like what I love so much is that you always have the best intentions no matter what.
Oh,
like your heart, her heart is always in the right place in every decision you make, and like it doesn't always show, like people don't always see it that way, but I see it like 100%, and it's like you're always doing what you think is right.
That's nice. That's really sweet. Thank you.
Yeah. Such a crybaby.
Oh, I did not.
But yeah, I think sometimes it can be misinterpreted or misread because like at the same time you're sometimes unaware of like what other people like might be thinking based on your decisions, or like you're like unawareness sometimes. But all your decisions are still like made with like honest, just, and like true like loving intentions.
Thanks. Really nice. My favorite thing by far about you is your imagination. I think I've told you about this before, but like, oh sorry, I got some lip gloss on you. Hunter's like a really like, but I guess like your imagination and your like positivity, like you don't ever, like you can think really big dreams and things like we'll do this or I could do that, and you genuinely like believe that you will do that, you will have those things, and you don't like doubt yourself at all, like you dream like so big, like nothing is too big for you, like you're like, yeah, let's do it. If I'm like, let's go like, I don't know, travel around the world in a month and I don't know, record all of it, and we're gonna like build these many houses all over the world or something, like you would do anything, like you'd be like, yeah, okay, I'm down, let's do it, like we could do that.
Yeah.
And you never like you don't limit your mind or anything, and I feel like that's like so nice to have a partner like that, because that makes me feel like I can do anything too.
Oh, it's nice.
Love you.
Thank you. That's sweet.
That's a fun question. I like that one. Okay, do we ever fight? Yes.
A lot.
Yes,
I think every couple of fights.
Fighting
is healthy.
Yes.
It also allows each other to reveal their hearts to each other. Mm-hmm. And like really where they're at like in the current moment, like in life, but also like how they feel in general.
Yeah.
Don't let that be misinterpreted of like, oh, it's good to fight because I can tell you how I feel, and like be able to like, don't fight to win the fight, like fight to like express
how you feel. Yes, I would agree with that. We talked about we will link our last Spritz and Chips video. We talked a lot about fighting and how to like fight nicely and everything. Yeah. I mean, I think the whole point of a fight is that you know that
underneath there's something underlying in both of you that just needs to come out.
The fight itself is
just
bullshit.
Say it. Yeah, it's like
the fight itself is like
it's a
fluff.
waste of time.
It's
yeah,
fluff.
it's fluff. It's a waste of time, and it's usually just like you're annoyed of each other and your blood is boiling, and so you just end up arguing about stupid stuff that doesn't even matter. Yeah. And why don't you just communicate what you really feel and what the real root of the problem is, and you can move on like adults.
Yeah.
So we try to do that, but we probably get in like a little bicker argument like every day.
Every day.
Just a
and
little
maybe
thing.
More serious argument fight at least once a week. At least.
Yeah.
But that's common. Like the fight itself is the fluff. It's like the popsicle, and then like the problem is like the stick. It's like figure out what the stick is.
Totally. And I feel like we talk about like our root issues and we kind of like know what they are, and then they'll kind of bubble up and some things we'll argue about them, but we really know deep down like we're on the same page. We might just have to like have conversations over and over again, like okay.
Yeah. And
another person asked like, what are the biggest struggles in our relationship?
I mean honestly, like biggest struggles in our relationship I think truly come from stress. Yes. Like for both of us, I think our arguments start because we're stressed out and nothing more. We're stressed and we're tired until we argue, and like we release some of that like emotional stress onto each other. Mm-hmm. Like we're each other's like punching bag, but we're not actually like mad at each other when we fight.
I think that totally. I think it also like whatever is like a struggle in my life and whatever's a struggle in his life becomes our struggles together, because that's what we end up like. If it's bothering one of us, then it ends up becoming our issue because we're in a relationship, obviously. Totally. So like yeah, I mean, that can be anything, like work, family, friends, like whatever it might be at the time. It like ebbs and flows.
Advice on getting over a long-term relationship and your ex quickly jumping into a new relationship. Bye, bitch.
Thank you next.
Totally, for sure. So,
well, actually, that means you weren't meant to be together.
Yeah, and you're lucky that they jumped into a new relationship so fast. Like otherwise, those relationships where it's like you're off and on and like y'all break up but y'all are still there and y'all are kind of each other's like only person to rely on with your emotional problems and stuff. It's like that sucks. I would much rather like if me and Julia before we got married, if Julia and I before we got married, if we were to break up and like you instantly found like someone else, it's like every reason for me to then move on. Totally. Like there's nothing keeping me there.
I think it's a blessing in disguise.
It's such a blessing. And so, like, cut it right there. Like, put the wall up. Like, forget them and move.
It will be hard. It will take some time for you to, like, heal and really get over it. But you're much better off without them. They're not the right person for you. Keep going. Keep moving forward. There's someone better waiting.
I sometimes speak, like, passionately and directly because I'm probably, like, less emotional about those things. To be honest, if I'm honest with you, I'm going to give my honest feedback. It's like, y'all aren't meant to be. Move on. You have every reason to now, and thank the Lord that you have that person's moved on. Now you can leave without any like emotional ties to that person. Like, see you later. They've moved on. You can move on now and like, bye.
We should start doing relationship like advice moving forward, like relationship Q&As, but where you guys like, or like boy talks basically, where people submit like their stories or their questions about like guys they're dating, or it could be marriage or whatever, and you can we can give our advice. But Hunter's really good at giving relationship advice, you guys. Like, all of my friends ask him for advice, and my sister's like everybody, because he's so straightforward. Leave a comment below if you guys
questions. If y'all want that, let us know. That'd be kind of, I would enjoy that actually.
Yeah, and I want to do like girl talks to it.
But just fair warning, don't ever be upset with my answer, because I will tell you how I feel.
Yeah. You're a little blunt.
Okay. Work schedules. Does it get stressful on our relationship? Or on your relationship?
And how do we like balance between our relationship and YouTube? Someone asked. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. How do we separate it? Stress, work, all that stuff. So like work
schedules, we're pretty much on the same schedule for the most part. Like, we wake up and spend the first 2 hours or so of our morning on like the YouTube, Instagram side of things. Mm-hmm. And then
we go to work.
At like 8 a.m. we go to work. Or 8 a.m. my time, we go to work. You start work around and like an hour or two later. You spend like a little bit more time on YouTube.
Yeah.
She starts work at like 9 or 10 Central.
Yeah. But yeah, we're pretty much on the same schedule.
Same schedules.
Like the stress of both of our jobs separately put stress on our relationship. Yes, like we were saying earlier, usually like fights are just coming out of like being stressed or on edge or whatever, tired, whatever, yeah. So yes, definitely super normal, but we, we're in this together, so we try to, at least we both equally work as much and we're equally as busy, so we understand like, hey, we need a break together, like we know we need like some time off, we need to make some time to do this weekend or something like that, so we're on the same page as far as that, but it absolutely does weigh on us. And how do we keep our relationship separate from YouTube?
My truest answer here is that it's not separate.
Yeah, I agree.
In the sense that we don't have a certain relationship on YouTube. That's different from our true relationship.
No.
And so more than anything, we're not being a certain way on camera. We're just bringing the camera into like our lives.
Yes.
And then like, and we do make time, like we do separate YouTube from our relationship where like we decide like, hey, we're not going to bring the camera here today. We're going to have our like intimate alone time. And we do that a lot. Like a lot of people say like, oh, why y'all take the camera with you everywhere you go and you have it so much, like whatever. We only show you at the very most on like a daily vlog like 20 minutes of our day.
Yeah.
The rest of the time we're either working or spending time together.
Yeah.
Even travel vlogs, like when we're vacationing for a week or a weekend, we should like a travel vlog is 40 minutes and it's probably
at the longest.
It's probably like 40 minutes is like a really good vlog that I know a lot of y'all like from like a time, like a length perspective.
Yeah.
But it's 40 minutes made from probably like
10
2 hours or 3 hours of film.
Yeah.
From 10 days.
Yeah.
Like
it's really not that much.
It's not that much. Like we take it when we want to and we want to like bring you along, but other times there's things that we do that's really cool and really fun that we're like, oh, we almost wish that we did have the camera here, but we wanted that time alone.
Yeah. And I think that for us, we enjoy doing it together and we like having all the memories to look back on. So, I mean, it's fun that we can look at like our past trips and be like, oh, remember our anniversary trip to Charleston? Like, let's go watch that vlog. Or we went to Paris. Like, we can go back and watch all. It's like having like a memory tape.
Yeah, it's like home videos.
Home videos.
So one of the questions is, how do you split the bills and who pays for what?
We put all our money together and
we did that right before we got married.
Yeah.
We were like, let's get a single bank account. We're both working now. Let's just like funnel it into the same place and we'll make our decisions like where we're spending our money together since all of our money is our money together.
Yeah. Together. Everything is out of one account. So it's the same
And then how do you budget for things that you want versus things that he wants or like things that each other wants over, I guess, priorities? It's like, I think we have the conversations. It's not like I want it versus like she wants it. It's like
do we need this?
Do we need it? Do you really want it? Yeah, it's like sometimes like you buy things that you need, sometimes you buy things that you want, but you talk about it.
Yeah. So.
A really good question is, do you make couple friends or do you make individual friends?
Yes.
Like both. We have individual friends as well as couple friends.
Yeah.
We have a lot of individual friends, like single folks, stuff like that were people we graduated high school with, graduated college with.
Yeah.
And at some point, they'll probably become your couple friends because, like, if you are truly friends with them, then you will love them and accept their partner as well.
Yeah. And I think, like, but we do make a lot of couple friends together, but I think it's not always, like, you vibe with, like, both people. That's pretty rare, so...
it was important in our growth, I'll say that. Like, when we were first graduating college and, like, just getting married, the best thing we did was... like befriend couples that were like more mature than us that like really set standards and like really just set the standard for like how we should live as a couple and like they helped us mature so much.
Yeah.
And even now it's like very important for us to have a couple friends that are like on the same page as us. It's important for us to even have like vlogging friends because they understand like what we're doing. We understand what they're doing and like we can have similar conversations.
Yeah, totally.
And same with you, like a lot of like your single friends have come from like vlogging as well.
Yeah, totally. I can go hang out with like a girlfriend or something and like, yeah, of course she can come over and like chill with both of us because like if she's my friend, she obviously likes you because you're my husband. Right. But we can like go on girls trips together or whatever. Like you might go on a trip with a guy or like go to the ranch or something or the lake house and then they can come over here for dinner and we'll all hang out. But it's like you can do guy stuff with them, I can do girl stuff with them, or we do stuff as couples.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay. we are going to wrap this up. This is probably the longest video ever, but let us know if you guys want us to do more relationship videos, Q&As, whatever. And thank you guys so much for watching. You can catch up with us more in our weekly vlogs or vlog weeks or Vlogmas if you want more of us.
Yeah, we enjoyed Vlog Week last week. It was fun.
Yeah, it was super fun. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. We love you, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.